It is a bitter cold night over the northern walls of Rome. You are alone at the gate. The storm is closing in, and no one else will stand watch tonight except you. Welcome back. It's late. The room is quiet now. Somewhere outside, the wind moves slowly through the trees. Nothing urgent is happening tonight. Nothing needs your attention. Just this voice. Just this room. Just the slow, ordinary details of a place that no longer exists. Before we begin, one small thing. If this voice has helped you rest before, you can subscribe so you don't miss the next videos. It costs nothing. It simply means these stories will find you again the next time you need them. There's no rush to decide. You can do it now or later or not at all. It will still be here. Now, let's return to where we left off. The northern gate rises before you. Made of oak, reinforced with iron. Nearly 4 meters tall. A little under 2 meters wide. Snow already covers the top of the battlements. A thin layer. Still soft. Still silent. The weight of the armor feels familiar now. The Larica segment at it covers your torso in overlapping metal bands. 7 kilograms, maybe 8. Carefully distributed across your shoulders. Beneath it, a tunic of thick wool. Woven in Rome last winter. Then, a heavier cloak, leather treated with oil. It holds off the snow for a few hours. Not forever. Your shield, the scutum, rests against the stone beside you. Curved. Just over 1 meter and a bit tall. Painted a deep red, almost brown in this light. The edges reinforced with bronze. Your spear, the pilum, leans close to the shield. Nearly 2 meters long. The iron tip, long and thin, designed to bend on impact. This keeps an enemy from reusing it. But tonight, it simply rests. Leaning. Still. You check each piece, one by one. It's a habit, not a necessity. The straps of the breastplate. The buckles of your boots, called calici. Thick soles, studded with metal for grip on the ice. Each check takes a few seconds. Each second passes slowly. The watches are divided into 4 shifts, each one lasting 3 hours. You are on the 2nd shift tonight. The quietest one, according to the veterans. A bronze bell marks the change of guard. You heard it ring a while ago, distant from the central tower. A sound softened by the snow. Almost gentle. 12 men are assigned to this stretch of wall tonight. 3 to each tower. Spaced roughly 150 meters apart. You can see the torch of the next post, a small orange light flickering through the snow. The torches are refilled every 2 hours. Olive oil mixed with resin to burn more slowly in the cold. A younger soldier moves between the posts, carrying the oil jars. He doesn't speak much. No one speaks much tonight. The silence here is not empty. It is full of small sounds. The crackle of the torch, the wind against the stone. Your own footsteps, slow, along the wooden walkway atop the wall. You walk to the far end of your post. Then, back again. 60 steps, there and back. You have counted them before, many times, on many nights like this one. The snow begins to fall more heavily now. The flakes are larger than before. Slower, too. You watch one land on the sleeve of your cloak. It doesn't melt right away. The leather is cold enough to hold it. In the distance, the signal tower is no longer visible. Just a faint orange glow behind the white curtain. This is normal this time of year. The northern snowstorms usually last between 4 and 6 hours. Rarely longer. You pull your cloak a little higher over your shoulders. The motion is automatic. Repeated so many times it no longer requires thought. There's a small stone shelter a few steps away, built against the wall. No door. Just 3 walls and a low roof, enough to cut the wind. Inside it, an iron brazier, already lit since the start of the shift. Charcoal, not wood. It burns slower, produces less smoke. You step closer, not to warm yourself completely, just to remind your hands that they still have feeling. A minute, maybe 2. Then, back to your post. The sundial at the base of the tower, of course, is useless tonight. No sun, no shadow, no marked hour. Just the slow, steady passing of the cold. This wall was built nearly 90 years ago. The Legion's records say it took about 6 years to complete. Work carried out only during the warmer seasons. The base is made of limestone blocks, each one weighing between 300 and 400 kilograms, cut from quarries roughly 30 kilometers from here, transported by ox-drawn carts. 2 weeks of travel there and back for each load. Above the stone base, a layer of fired brick. Then Roman concrete made from lime, volcanic ash, and water. This mixture hardens over time. It grows stronger each year, not weaker. The engineers of that era already understood this. The wall stands just over 6 meters tall, nearly 2 meters thick at the base, narrowing gradually to a little over 1 meter at the top. There is a tower roughly every 200 meters. 12 towers along this particular stretch of the frontier. Each one numbered, not named. You are positioned near Tower 7. The numbers were painted in red on the stone decades ago. Nearly faded now. You can only make them out because you already know where to look. The snow continues to gather over every detail, softening the edges, covering the numbers, one layer at a time. It's time for the watch meal. Not a full meal, just enough to keep the body going until dawn. A piece of bread baked 2 days ago. A little hard now, but still good. You break it into smaller pieces with your hands. You eat slowly, in no hurry at all. Beside the bread, salted meat wrapped in cloth. Pork cured weeks ago in the fortress storehouses. Salt is plentiful in this region. Mined nearby along the river, carried in wooden barrels. You drink paska, the standard soldier's drink. Water mixed with wine vinegar. Sour, but comforting in the cold. A wooden cup, worn smooth from use. None of this is remarkable. It is simply the routine of hundreds of nights like this one. The same sequence of movements. The same amount of bread. The same cup of paska. You chew slowly. You swallow slowly. Time here is in no rush at all. If your eyes feel heavy now, that's all right. You don't need to stay awake for the rest of this story. It will keep going either way. There's a simple signaling system between the posts. A slow movement of the torch, side to side. It simply means all is well. You give the signal now, facing Tower 6. You wait. A few seconds later, a distant light answers, the same way. Slow. Side to side. This repeats roughly every half hour. There's no clock here, just the mental counting of time. Over the years, you've learned to sense when half an hour has passed. You're almost always right. The soldier at Tower 6 is named Marcus. You rarely speak, except at the change of shift. He's older, has served 12 years on this frontier. He says he's seen worse snowstorms than this one. Much worse. You have no reason to doubt him. On the other side, at Tower 8, the signal hasn't come yet. This isn't cause for concern. The snow there is thicker. The view shorter. The signal will come eventually. It always does. Near the base of Tower 7, there's a stone plaque. Almost covered by snow now. You've read the words on it hundreds of times. You no longer need to look to remember them. The inscription records the name of the emperor who ordered this frontier built. And the year counted the Roman way from the founding of the city. Also the name of the engineer responsible. A man whose name greater history has forgotten, but the stone still remembers. They say the project took months just to be approved. Meetings in Rome, documents, preliminary measurements. Then, years of actual work. Thousands of men, most of them anonymous. Stonemasons, carpenters, carriers, cooks to feed them all. A small temporary camp existed here during construction. It no longer exists. Only the records say it once did. And this plaque, nearly worn away by time and now by snow. You clear a bit of the snow with your glove. Just out of habit. The letters reappear for a moment. Then, the snow begins covering them again. At every change of shift, there's an inventory to be done. It's not required, but you do it anyway. A short sword, the gladius. Nearly 60 centimeters of blade. You check the edge, running your thumb lightly along the side, never across the cutting edge. Still sharp. Still ready, though tonight asks nothing of it. A smaller dagger, secure to your waist. About 30 centimeters. Used more for everyday tasks than for anything else. Cutting bread. cutting rope, rarely more than that. A leather pouch hanging from your belt. Inside it, flint and steel for starting a fire. A small spool of thread. A bone needle for mending cloth if needed. You put everything back in its place. Each item has a specific position. Always the same one. It makes things easier to find in the dark. The snow outside keeps falling. Unhurried. No sign of stopping soon. A distant sound cuts through the snow. The bell from the central tower. Midnight. You count the strikes, quietly, almost without noticing you're counting. 1, 2, all the way to 12. The bell was cast many years ago in a workshop near the river. Bronze mixed with a small amount of tin. It weighs nearly 200 kilograms, according to the garrison's records. It takes 4 men to move it when needed. After the last strike, silence returns. Deeper than before, somehow. As if the snow had waited for the bell to finish before falling more gently. Midnight means half your shift has already passed. About 3 more hours. You feel no rush about it. Time here isn't measured by the wish for it to pass quickly. It simply passes at its own pace, slowly. You look up at the sky for a moment. No stars visible. Just thick, dark clouds carrying more snow. That's all right. Nothing needs to change tonight. There's a small recess at the base of the tower, sheltered from the wind by the shape of the stone itself. The soldiers call it, informally, the lee side. The snow gathers there differently. It doesn't fall straight, like across the rest of the wall. It moves in a spiral, carried by air currents the tower itself creates, forming small ripples across the white surface. You've watched this many times before. The pattern is never exactly the same, but it's never completely different either. In this recess, the sound of the wind changes. It grows muffled, almost as if the stone absorbs part of the noise. A soldier could spend minutes here, just watching the snow move, without thinking about anything in particular, without needing to think about anything at all. The nearby brazier keeps a tolerable temperature. Not warm, just tolerable. Enough that the hands don't fully seize up. You stay there for a moment, then return to your post. The cycle repeats, slowly, as always. On the ground floor of the tower, there's a small provisions room. You go down just to check, as part of the routine. Barrels of grain lined up against the stone wall. Wheat, mostly. Enough to feed the garrison for nearly 2 months, should the road become blocked by snow. This has happened before, the records say. Not often, but it has happened. Sacks of salt stacked beside them. Olive oil in amphories sealed with wax. Wine vinegar for making pasca. Dry hay for the messenger horses, kept in an attached stable further below. Each item has its recorded place on a wooden board hung near the door. A simple system. One column for the item, another for the quantity. Updated weekly by the supply officer. You check the numbers quickly. Everything matches. Nothing needs attention tonight. The room smells of grain and old oil. A familiar smell. Almost comforting in a way. You close the door behind you and climb back up slowly the worn stone steps. A messenger was expected tonight. He hasn't arrived yet. This isn't cause for concern. The roads move slower in the snow. A trip that normally takes 3 hours can take 6 or more in these conditions. You glance toward the distant road out of habit. Nothing visible except the snow falling over the empty path. Messengers on this route carry simple reports. Supply counts. Records from neighboring garrisons. Nothing urgent most of the time. Just the normal, quiet functioning of a frontier in peacetime. If he doesn't arrive by dawn, a second rider will be sent to check the road. That's standard procedure. Simple. No alarm. You picture, for a moment, the messenger somewhere along the way. Perhaps stopped beneath a tree, waiting for the snow to ease. Or perhaps just riding slowly, carefully, through the white darkness. There's no way to know. Not tonight. You turn your eyes back to your own stretch of the wall. The messenger will arrive when he arrives. On clear nights, you can see the stars used for navigation. The ones the sailors and the garrison's astronomer know by name. Not tonight. The clouds are too thick. Still, you look up out of habit. Just for a moment. There's an old astronomer who visits the fortress twice a year. He teaches the younger soldiers to recognize a few constellations. Not out of military necessity, mostly, but because, he says, a man who understands the sky sleeps better beneath it. You don't know if that's true, but you remember some of what he taught. The wagon, formed by 7 stars, always visible to the north. Used for generations to find direction on moonless nights. Tonight, none of that matters. Just clouds. Just snow. You lower your eyes again to the white-covered courtyard below. The sky will return eventually. There's no rush for that either. The bell sounds again in the distance. 3 hours have passed since midnight. Your shift is nearly over. The next soldier is already on his way. You can see the light of his torch approaching along the walkway. The change of shift follows a simple procedure. You report what needs reporting. Nothing unusual tonight. No signs of danger. No messenger yet, but that's already been noted. The brazier will need more charcoal soon. The other soldier listens, nods, confirms. Few words are exchanged. No more are needed. You stand side by side for a moment. Then you begin to descend. The stone steps, once smoothed by generations of centuries before you. Your shift ends here for tonight. But the wall continues. The snow continues. Someone will always be standing watch, no matter the hour. You descend slowly toward toward the distant warmth of the barracks. Each step a little lighter than the last. The main courtyard of the fortress stretches out before you, covered by an even layer of snow, almost untouched at this hour. Your boots leave a trail of footprints behind you, the only visible mark across all this whiteness. The barracks stand about 200 paces from the base of the wall. A long building of stone and timber with a sloped roof to shed the snow. Small windows covered with stretched hide instead of glass. A soft amber light escapes through them, showing the fire is still lit inside. You walk slowly. There's no reason to hurry now. The cold no longer bothers you as much, knowing warmth is close. You pass the small shrine dedicated to Fortuna to the left of the path. A small stone statue, almost always covered in flowers during the warmer seasons. Now, just snow gathered across the goddess's shoulders. Some soldiers light a candle there before or after their shift. You don't do this every night, but sometimes you do. Tonight, you simply pass by with a brief nod and continue on toward the door. Inside the barracks, the warmth is immediate. A stone hearth burns slowly in one corner of the room. The air smells of wood smoke and damp leather. You begin removing the armor, piece by piece. First, the belt with the sword and dagger, set carefully onto a wooden rack made specifically for this. Then, the Larica segmentata. The straps loosen easily, a motion repeated so many times the fingers already know the way on their own. The metal plates make a soft sound as they're stacked, almost musical from being so familiar. The cloak hung near the fire to dry, already damp from melted snow on the leather. Beneath everything, the wool tunic also needs to dry a little. You change into a dry one, kept in a small wooden chest beside your bed. Each movement is slow. No hurry at all. The body, finally free of the metal's weight, feels a little lighter with each piece removed. The fortress has its own bats, small but sufficient. Much smaller than the great public baths of Rome, of course. Just 3 chambers, cold, warm, and hot. At this hour, almost no one else is here. Just you and the soft sound of water. The heating system runs beneath the floor. A furnace, kept burning by a slave assigned to the task, warms the air that circulates under the stones. The floor slabs are warm to the touch, comfortable beneath bare feet. You enter the hot chamber first. The water doesn't boil, just warms enough to loosen the muscles tightened by hours on the wall. Steam rises slowly, forming small clouds near the low ceiling. There's no rush to leave. The heat sinks in slowly, dissolving the cold gathered during the shift. After a few minutes, you move to the warm chamber. Then, briefly, to the cold one. A simple ritual repeated for generations by soldiers like you. The room where you sleep houses 8 soldiers. Simple wooden beds, straw mattresses covered with wool. Most are already occupied, the others resting since before your shift began. A small candle burns near the door, enough to see the way to your bed at the back of the room. Nothing more than that. You sit on the edge of the mattress for a moment, your feet still warm from the bats, your body finally beginning to truly relax. Outside, the wind has died down a little. The snow continues, but softer now. You can hear it quietly against the small hide-covered window. Tomorrow, the same pattern will repeat. Perhaps not exactly the same shift, but a familiar variation of it. This isn't cause for sadness. It's simply how things are here on this frontier in this season. You lie down. The heavy wool blanket brings a comforting weight over your body. Your eyes are heavy now. The candle near the door begins to dim, its light growing fainter. You think vaguely about the next shift. Then, not even that. The thoughts grow slower, further apart from one another. The snow outside keeps falling. Over the wall, over the tower, over the small stone plaque nearly worn away near the base of Tower 7. Tomorrow, someone will clear part of it. Or maybe not. Maybe it will stay covered for one more day. It doesn't matter much either way. The barracks are quiet now. Just the calm breathing of 8 men sleeping. And the distant, steady sound of the wind growing softer. You don't need to think about anything else tonight. There's no need to resolve anything. There's no need to remember anything. Just this. Just the weight of the wool over your body. Just the silence. Just sleep arriving slowly like the snow outside. While you sleep, the fortress continues. It never stops, not completely. But at this moment, almost everything is quiet. In the towers, the next shift's sentries walk their own 60 paces. There and back. Slowly. As you did a few hours ago. In the stables, the horses rest standing, as they usually do. Their breath forms small clouds of steam in the cold air. The dry hay rustles softly when one of them shifts. In the main kitchen, a stone oven still holds low embers, slowly preparing for the bread that will be baked before dawn. That's still a few hours away. The snow over the rooftops forms an even layer, nearly 30 centimeters now, according to any soldier who bothered to measure. No one bothers tonight. Everything moves slowly here, or nothing moves at all. And that's all right. In the quietest hours, before dawn, the snow finally begins to ease. It doesn't stop all at once. Just gradually, the flakes grow smaller, further apart. The sky, still dark, begins to take on a very pale gray along the eastern horizon. Almost imperceptible. Only someone who has watched hundreds of dawns would notice the difference. The sentries still on watch feel the cold differently now. Deeper, some say. The body, tired from the hours, responds more slowly to the weather. One of them taps his feet gently against the stone. Not out of urgency, just to keep the circulation going, as he was taught long ago by some forgotten veteran. The nearest city, almost 30 kilometers from here, sleeps too. Its own night watchmen keep their own quiet shifts. The same routines, repeated with small variations across the whole empire tonight. None of that needs your attention now. You keep sleeping, and that's all right. The fourth and final watch of the night begins now, though you aren't there to see it. The procedure is the same as always. The bell rings. The soldiers meet, exchange few words, confirm that all is well. The torches, nearly out of oil, will soon be replaced with new ones. The brazier in the sheltered corner receives more charcoal, enough to last until full daylight. The snow has stopped completely now. A thick, even layer covers everything the eye can reach. The courtyard, the rooftops, the small stone plaque, now invisible at the base of Tower 7. Someone will clear it eventually. Maybe today. Maybe not. The sky to the east already shows a lighter gray, almost silver. It isn't day yet, but the night, somehow, has already begun to withdraw. None of this requires you to wake now. Your body remains at rest beneath the comforting weight of the wool. The fortress takes care of itself, as it always has. In the main kitchen, the garrison's baker is already up. He wakes before almost everyone, every single day. That doesn't change, with snow or without it. The stone oven, warmed through the night, now receives the day's first loaves. Dough prepared hours ago, left to rise slowly in the night's cold. This, they say, makes the bread denser, longer lasting, suited for a frontier where nothing can be wasted. The smell of fresh bread begins to spread, slowly, through the nearby corridors. It hasn't reached the room where you sleep yet, but it will soon. Outside, the silvery gray light of dawn begins to define the shapes of the fortress. The wall, the towers, the courtyard, still untouched by the day's movement. All of this will continue exactly as it has for 90 years. Exactly as it will continue, likely, for many years more. You don't need to follow any of it now. Just rest. And so, another quiet night comes to a close over the northern frontier. Nothing happened. Nothing needed to. Just a wall. Just the snow. Just someone, always someone, standing watch while the rest of the world rests. If you're still here with me, thank you for spending this time in this quiet place. If you drifted off some time ago, even better. That was exactly what this story was for. There's nothing else to remember from tonight. No detail that needs to stay with you. Just the feeling of calm, if it's still here. Rest now. The wall will go on, whether or not you're watching. And if you need it, this voice will be here again the next night. Sleep well.